The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by EdgeBoost. Paying up for better. Sign up today at EdgeBoost.BetForCard.HPN to get a $25 deposit bonus. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Wednesday afternoon, May 28th, around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Royce Lewis, Reichel. Once again, joined by Dylan Rockford together to break down the games here for the Thursday card. Very, very short card. Only 4 games. Should take a very short amount of time. But either way, point is still going to break down every game. Dylan, how's it going with you? Have you enjoyed the day baseball for Wednesday?
Oh, it's been tough on me, Scott. I mean, you said it last week. I think Tanner Scott, he's awful.
Yep.
He's awful. I had the Dodgers money line, so that did not come through. Mets, Griffin Canning, worst outing this season by him. Tigers did get home for me as well. Did not understand the Drew Rasmussen situation either, him getting taken out, but Rays dominated as well. So pretty good slate in the day, and now I got the Padres -1.5, so that's the only game I got.
No, right now they're up 3-1, guy on first and second. So we'll see what happens. But Sandy not pitching well again. What else is new? And we'll see if San Diego can open up the lead a little bit there in the 4th inning. A couple of games went final already. You're looking at Houston, who's kind of come on lately. They've won a few recently, and you're looking at them being with another win today, as they ended up getting a 5-3 win against the A's. As you mentioned, Rasmussen was solid. The Twins didn't do anything, and Tampa won 5-0. The Red Sox bullpen continues to be terrible. Loses in walk-off fashion Nextras for the second straight night. Detroit beat the Giants. The Guardians came back against the Dodgers because Tanner Scott was terrible. The White Sox jumped on Canning, and they won 9-4. And as you said, the Padres actually scored another run. They're up 4-1 right now.
Let's go.
Into the 4th inning. So I feel like out of all of those games that went final, is there any of those teams you want to talk about, either in positive or negative light?
Yeah, we could talk about Tigers. I mean, after a bad, rough weekend, they go out and they sweep the Giants here at home. They're the best team in baseball, and it's not just record wise. They're just phenomenal. I mean, who pitched today? Jackson Jobe.
I thought he didn't pitch that well, but he was good enough, I guess.
No, he was good enough, and that's the thing. They have a solid bullpen, and they're continuing to rake. Who hit pretty well for him? Carpenter had a big solid hit. Gleyber Torres. Whatever happened to him? He was one of your guys.
He's batting .285. I feel like he's always been a good contact guy. The shocking part's the on base at .388 because with the Yankees, he really that much. He was a free swinger most of the time. He already has 25 walks in 44 games, so he's done a pretty good job of also just using the strike zone to his advantage. And as you said, I mean, he's been a solid player for Detroit right now, batting in the 2 spot. He's been good. Javi Baez has been kind of banged up a bit recently, but he's been very good as well. As he's batting .278. They have a solid overall team, and it feels like they are a team that can definitely, I don't want to say surprise some people because they are 17 over, but they're really, really good. And I feel like people haven't realized how good they actually are. But this team's solid, and they keep performing well, and they might end up getting home field, potentially, in the American League.
Yeah.
So I'll see what happens. But I do want to briefly segue, though, to a player that I'm going to talk about on a different team. Same division, though. Want to take a second to talk about a guy who apparently last year stated that he does not believe in slumps. They're not for him. Yeah, Royce Lewis might be terrible. I wanted to point that out because he has been useless since coming back from injury. So far this season, he has a 138 batting average and a 200 on base. Yeah. He has 0 hits in 25 straight plate appearances. It's okay, though, because he does not believe in slumps.
What was the odds on him not to record a hit?
For him to get a hit today, it was -205. So him to not get a hit was like +170 something, +180 something.
Did you take it?
I took the no singles prop instead of -129, which I gave out on the prop version of the show this morning. But just looking at his numbers, God, he's been terrible. It's been really bad, and I feel like he's hyped up every year because he has a great, I'd say, month every year where he kind of catches fire. And besides that, I don't think he's very good. And so far this year has been really, really bad. And I wonder if he will at some point even be demoted at this point. Because you bat 138 for about an entire month. I don't know why you're playing every day. Is there a chance he gets demoted?
There might be. I'm looking at it. He only has 9 hits in the month of May.
The entire month, he has 9 hits.
I'm like astounded by how bad he's been. I know he was dealing with an injury in the beginning of the season, but
I don't know if he rushed back too early or what the situation was, but he's been injured a lot over the last few years. I
his
mean,
whole career.
Fun fact, do you want to guess the
Uh-oh.
most amount of games that Royce Lewis has ever appeared in a single season?
Oh, it has to be low. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say like 75.
Okay, so you're close. 82.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
He has never played in more than 82 games in a single season.
That's terrible.
And he had a 233 batting average last year. So like I understand that he occasionally gets hot, whatever, but look, you're batting 138. As you said, you have 9 hits in the entire month. You might be playing in the wrong league. You might have to go try to figure out some stuff, get sent down and work on it, because that's
The
just
good
bad.
thing is the Minnesota Twins aren't paying him anything.
No, and they moved him down to 7 in the order because he used to be a pretty solid guy in the top of the lineup, but they've been demoting him because they want to bench him, but they really can't because of how good he's been in the past, I guess, or the power he possesses. But I wanted to mention him for a second because his props have been mispriced all year, and if you've been fading him, you've made a ton of money. I got no single today at minus 129.
That's crazy.
He's at 0 singles, and I believe now 16 of his first 20 games this season. He's had 0 singles in like 8 straight, and it was minus 129.
The last time he had a single was Monday, May 19th against Cleveland. He went 1 for 4.
Yeah. So once again, no single today. I'm not complaining. I appreciate it, but
yeah, that was crazy. I didn't know how bad he was until I saw your tweet, and then we started talking about it. But a guy that I wanted to ask you about hitting 119 in the last 16, 17 days. My guy Juan Soto.
I was gonna guess Juan Soto. You were talking about.
Okay. What's wrong with him? Or do you, because I'm hearing boos already at Citi Field, and New York fans are ruthless. You know, we both live here. They don't give a shit. I mean, they expect, especially with the money that they're paying this guy, they expect, and he's a liability on defense. I mean, I think we were doing the episode, you and I, in the preseason where we're like, listen, we get it. He's getting paid for his bat, but in the field, he's a liability. He doesn't hustle. That's what New York fans want to see. They want to at least see effort. He doesn't run out any like contact that he makes. I don't know, man. Against the White Sox, you can't get a couple hits. That's very telling to me.
By the way, you mentioned how it might seem a bit early for Soto to get booed. I want to point out as a Yankees fan, I still remember Giancarlo Stanton's Yankee Stadium debut.
Yeah.
Do you by any chance remember how that went?
0 for 4? 0 for 5?
You're very close. He struck out 5 times in a game. And the Yankee fans booed him like crazy in his home debut with the franchise because he struck out 5 times in one game.
Ruthless.
So yes, the Yankees fans especially are very impatient. Mets fans can be too. But I still remember Stanton getting booed in his first ever home game with the Yankees because he struck out 5 times. So it's never too early to boo for Yankees fans. Look, the way that I'll put it, the fielding is not a surprise. We talked about it in the offseason, and it wasn't even me being in denial as a Yankees fan. I called him an atrocious outfielder. I think he's a really bad fielder. I think that he's got a pretty good arm, but I think his range is a mess, and I think that he's a guy who really doesn't track fly balls that well in terms of his routes and his actual coverage. And the arm's solid. It makes up for some of the mistakes. He's not a great fielder. He's also not a great runner. I know he stole a couple of bases in the Yankees series, but he's not a great base runner either. And right now the bat's kind of gone cold. Now people will counter and say, according to the Baseball Savant page and according to some other stuff, he's actually better than he has been showing in the stat column. That's great. He's been good in imaginary stats. I don't really know what to tell you. He's not been very good this season. I feel like, once again, you can't expect maybe him to pick it up at some point. He's too talented to keep struggling. But it feels like some of it is actually kind of an emotional issue I have with Soto this season, where it feels like he just doesn't have the same type of energy that he had with the Yankees. And maybe that's because Judge is there and he has a couple of other solid bats in the line. The Mets offense, though, has been hanging around, I'll put it that way. I know Alonso was cold for about a month straight, that he finally caught fire again. He's had a couple home runs recently. But doesn't it feel that way even besides the actual production? Soto last year with the shuffle in the box, all the theatrics, it feels like all of that's kind of gone. And part of that kind of
Yeah.
feeds on to the rest of the team. And I feel like Soto's energy, which was contagious for his entire career, has just been sapped. It's just not
100%.
there. Do you agree with that? Or
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, I think the rest of the team feeds off of him. Like we had a guy, Jeff McNeil, won the batting title. He's gone cold. He doesn't know how to hit. Mark Vientos, we saw in the playoffs last year. He was a great hitter. He had a home run today, but he stinks. He's hitting like 240. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. I saw what Adam posted with the great thread about, you know, the whole baseball savant and the metrics for Juan Soto being very unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess he could be a little unlucky, but at the end of the day, he's not producing. And it is what it is. I think he'll turn it around. He, like you said, he's too good of a player for it not to turn around. But outside of Lindor, who struggles too, he hits before him. He doesn't have too much protection in that lineup.
Yeah, Beatty's actually been okay recently. He's
after they called him back up.
Yeah. He's mostly a home run guy, or at least an extra base hits guy. Vientos had a big day today. He had a 3-run homer today in the loss. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the lineup has not been that great. Alonso, I think nobody thought would be leading the team in batting average at this point at the end of May, and he's batting 290. But I do think Soto, who's on base, is still solid at 352.
Is that because of the walks?
Yeah, it's not nearly as good as it, normally is. Usually it's around 400 or so, but he walks a lot, which is always going to be a plus. But I mean, as we talked about before, though, his slugging this season is only 393.
Yeah,
like that can't happen if you're paying a guy that much money. So there are a couple ways to look at it, though. Soto's been a mess, and the Mets are still 12 over. That's one way to look at it. And the NL East right now is basically between two teams because the Braves have not been very good. The Nationals, we know, aren't very good, and the Marlins stink. So the Mets are 2 games back right now, and Soto's barely done anything. So there is a positive way to spin
100%, yeah.
But when you're paying a guy that much money, you need him to step up a bit more. And yes, you could argue he's unlucky. I don't know how many points of unluckiness you want to argue, but he's batting below 250. Like
That's just unacceptable.
He's batting below 230.
Yeah.
Like I feel like luck can only have so much to do with it. And if it was maybe 260, we wouldn't talk about it as much.
Yeah.
But 220 something can't happen.
No,
for a guy getting paid that much money.
No. And I'll also say this from Met writers that I'm following and things that I listen to. A guy like Francisco Alvarez, he's on the short leash. I mean, he hasn't produced either. For a guy being drafted and highly sought out, they like the guy that we got from you guys, Terrence. I think he's a better catcher than Francisco Alvarez. So that's another guy that's high expectation, but he just hasn't produced. So I don't know.
Yeah, but once again, despite all that, you're 12 over. So it's not the end of the world. But Soto being in, let's just say, underwhelming form in year 1 of a massive, basically career-long contract is not a good sign.
Will this contract go down as one of the worst as like Bobby Bonilla day?
I can't determine that yet. We're too early into it because the Soto contract will probably age horribly because he can't field already, and he's going to have to be a DH. On the bright side, at least the National League has a DH, so at least you can play him. That would have been a problem a couple of years ago if this contract was given out, but it's too early to tell because Soto, I think, is an all-time great hitter, at least when I've been watching for his entire career. I can't go that route, but based on the Mets' history of long contracts, you can add it to the list, potentially. But it's too early to tell in the middle of season 1. I'm not going to overreact that much, but it's been a concern.
That's fair. All right.
Any other teams you want to talk about?
No, those were the only really ones I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad you brought up the Royce Lewis thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I want to talk about or anything because I was going to talk quickly about the Cardinals, but they actually play later today. But I can't bring them up again because they actually don't play tomorrow. Shout out to the Cardinals, who have been pretty good so far this season. They're 31-24 right now. They've not been good on the road, but they've been good at home. They're 3 games back of the Cubs. And I actually, as a joke, recommended Marmol Manager of the Year at like 25-1 preseason, 30-1. And that's actually kind of live right now. But Cardinals, they're just finding a way to win. And I feel like after the rough season last year, they've kind of regained their identity a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Contact hitting, good defensive team, and it feels like they do the little things well.
Yeah.
Wanted to give them a shout out.
Yeah, they're really good, especially at home. I mean, batting wise, they're outside of the slugging percentage, they're a top 10 offense. They're 7th in the league in runs scored. They're 3rd in batting average. They're
and they
6th
lost
on base.
Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I like Dylan Carson. The second baseman, Brandon Donovan, he's good. Wilson Contreras, you could always count on him as well.
Victor Scott's been good.
Yeah, Victor Scott as well. And I think the pitching has really turned around. I can't believe I was on with Mal yesterday. I can't believe they're underdogs today. I get it, they're on the road, but Miles Mikolas has been pretty good, and Kate Povich is not good in my opinion. So I was actually very surprised that the Cardinals were underdogs here. But
yeah, me too. For the game today.
Yeah, but Cardinals are a good team. Are you worried with the Dodgers and their injuries?
We do this every year. Every year they get hurt.
I know.
Now, some of it comes down to when you think these guys are going to come back. As of right now, based on how it's currently constructed, I do not think this rotation is good enough to win the title.
I agree.
However, last year, how good was their rotation?
Not good either.
And they found a way.
Yeah.
Because Flaherty was honestly garbage half the time, but half the time he was good. You saw a couple of guys who'd step up in some spots, but Buehler was also a mess for most of it. He came out of the bullpen in that Yankee series a couple of times, and he was good out of the bullpen, but that rotation was a mess too. And they've been trying to find ways to patch it this season. The lineup, of course, is still great. Ohtani's still a lunatic, but it does feel like the pitching staff, including the bullpen, is not good enough.
No, Tanner Scott.
Last year, at least the bullpen was good enough to piggyback off of a 4-inning start and to find a way to survive and to win those games. This year, the bullpen's not good enough, and the rotation's not good enough. Sasaki's been a mess. He's on the IL.
He's on the IL, yeah.
Snell might not come back for the rest of the season. You're looking at Kershaw, who just came back. He has not been very good. You have a lot of guys who were expected to be pretty decent pieces. I had no faith in Kershaw this season because he's up there in years and he's injured all the time.
Yeah.
Sasaki being bad's a problem, and Snell barely pitching's a serious problem.
And Tyler Glass now, who knows when. I know he threw a bullpen on Monday, but then he said it didn't feel good. So when is he going to come back? I mean,
he's also hurt all the time, though. That's not a surprise either.
Yamamoto's been great, but that's it.
Yes.
That's it. So,
yeah, pretty much. And you're throwing out Gonsolin in there who comes back from injury. He's not very good either.
Yeah. Dustin May is trash.
He got killed yesterday.
He's terrible.
He got killed against the Guardians yesterday. But the point is, they'll find a way to win games because of that offense, and I'm sure they'll trade for somebody because they always do. But that pitching staff right now, currently constructed, is not good enough.
But is their offense good enough to get them far in the postseason?
I mean, you could make the argument as long as you have Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts healthy, you can beat anybody because those three guys can carry you. And Freeman in the World Series carried him on basically one leg.
And Teoscar as well.
And Teoscar too, yes. But I feel like those three guys are top 10,
100%.
top 15 batters in the league, no question. So based on that, I think it's doable. I would pick them to get upset again. If you're asking me what I think the most likely outcome is here, I think they're getting eliminated right now. We'll see if they trade for somebody. They kind of have to.
They have to. And like to your point, they need to trade someone and get someone in the bullpen as well. Their bullpen's not been good either.
It's been bad. And last year, I mean, you had some options, though. You had Gratterall, who was injured, but he was always a guy you could bring in. Trinan was a great closer. You had guys you could use. And this year, it feels like everybody out there is not a trustworthy option. At least that's what I think about the Dodgers bullpen at this point. It's a mess.
But to your point about the Mets, hey, we're 12 games above 500. You can say the same thing about the Dodgers.
Yes,
they're in first place.
But at the same point with the Mets, one thing that I think is definitely a bright spot, that bullpen's actually really good.
Yeah, and Kodai Senga's been phenomenal this year as well.
The only guy I don't like in your bullpen is Kramnik.
Yeah.
Who I think stinks.
Yeah, he's not.
But they use him as like a multiple inning guy, and I don't think he is good at all. That's the one guy I kind of have an issue with, besides Edwin Diaz being Edwin Diaz half the time. But Kramnik, I think, is a mess. Besides that, I'm fine with everybody else.
I'm not surprised they blew it. I mean, when they put Tanner Scott in, they were up 2 runs. I had the tweet to you, and I was like, I just can't wait till he blows it. Blew it, and I just fired it away. I was like, this guy stinks.
It all happened very quickly too, because he didn't really get anybody out.
He just walked batters. He couldn't even throw a strike.
No.
What? Because he used to be so good.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Relievers are a fickle bunch. It's all mental.
We saw the same thing with the other team that they played in the Guardians with Clase. He was bad in the beginning of the season, and now he's the best closer in the league now.
Well, I feel like going into the year, everyone knew that he was. The problem is him and Devin Williams. Devin Williams almost blew the save again yesterday.
Who's worse, Devin Williams or Tanner Scott?
Right now, Tanner Scott.
Yeah.
At least Williams has been good in the non-save situations recently. Yeah. Scott's just been a mess. He's walking a bunch of guys. Blew the game against the Mets last week. Blew the game today. It's been ugly. So we'll see what happens. But Dodgers not looking as sharp as you'd probably hope at this point.
No. Yeah.
Anyway, though, I think we did enough stalling before we got into the actual card. Before we get into any of the games, though, for the Thursday card, a reminder to have a great new form of content coming out because the SGP guys are going to be ripping packs live on air next Monday night. They'll be breaking a case of Panini Prisms with dabs, and you can get 10% off your favorite team. Go to SGPN, go to sportsgambling.com/break to get in on the action. A reminder that we're also brought to you by EdgeBoost because the first time bank account both for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions are approved. Usage fees, no minimums, or cash rewards as well. 100% approval. Run the deposit, sign up today, EdgeBoost.bet. Go to SGPN, deposit $25 at deposit, EdgeBoost.bet per code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Fantasy because they are going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Also, when you sign up for an account, use the promo code MLB SGPN. Get a special weekend first time with an offer up to 1K bonus cash on fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the recap, basically, of the Wednesday action and some overall discussions about teams. Time to move on into the games for Thursday. Good news, Dylan. We added an extra game to the card because the Braves and the Phillies got rained out. So we actually have 2 games to talk about for this one. Starting off with the first game, once again with double headers, you might see them switch the listed pitchers, but who knows? Either way, though, you have Smith-Shawver taking on Sanchez. Braves plus 125. The Phillies are minus 150. And the over-under in this game is about 7.5. Smith-Shawver might win Rookie of the Year. Maybe. We'll see. He's going to be on a short list, but he got destroyed last start against the Nationals. Once again, 3-2 record, 3.67 ERA. We'll point out, though, he's been terrible on the road, 5.48 ERA on the road. You're looking, though, at Sanchez, who's been really good so far this season. We saw the Braves not score in the last game as they lost 2-0. I'll ask you, because the Phillies at minus 150 feels about right, but I do think I'll go with the Phillies minus 1.5. I just think at home they're the better team. I don't trust Smith-Shawver on the road after getting shelled the last start. Minus 1.5 plus 145, though. Give me the Phillies minus the 1.5 in this game.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I hate when they do that. I hate when they switch the pitchers up because Christopher Sanchez was supposed to go game 2 against Chris Sale. So I hate when they do that, but you're right. I mean, I like Phillies maybe team total here. Like you said, AJ, he has not been good on the road. And Phillies are a team that kind of rakes at home. They're hitting 271. They're averaging 5.16 runs per game at home this season. So I don't think this is a good spot for him. Braves, like you said in the beginning of the show, they're really not playing the best baseball right now. Pitching doesn't look good. Bullpen's getting taxed as well. And they're just not scoring runs offensively. So I think the Phillies will get to AJ here. So I probably would take team total. Don't mind the minus 150, a little chalky, but if you want to get some value, I would agree. Take the minus 1.5 as well.
Yeah, moving on, though, to the second game of the doubleheader. This should also be a good pitching matchup because you have Sale pitching against what could be Zach Wheeler. So it should be a fun one. For this one, Braves minus 115, Phillies minus 105, and for the over-under in this game, I see it at 7.5. Bit of juice there to the over, not much, though, at about minus 115. I see the under at plus money at 7.5. Hell yeah. Sale and Wheeler under 7.5 at plus 102. That's good enough for me. I'll take that.
Yeah, I didn't run my numbers because I didn't see this pitching matchup, but my numbers for Sanchez and Sale, the total was 7.4. So I'd imagine Chris Sale versus Zach Wheeler is going to be lower than that. I think this is a great matchup. I think the Phillies sweep them here. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. 9 of their last 10. They're a great home team, 18-2 straight up. They struggle offensively right now. The Braves are just struggling right now. They're hitting just 229 on the road. They're averaging less than 4 runs per game. So 7.5 at plus money. Yeah, I'll take the under as well, and probably the Phillies on the money line as well. I do think they're the better team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Moving on to the next game, though, matchup between the A's and the Blue Jays. Now, for this game, you're looking at the A's, who have been in free fall lately. On the bright spot, they did end up winning a game a couple of days ago. Problem is, that's their only win they've had in like 2 weeks. They have been an absolute catastrophe. So they ended up beating the Dodgers on May 13th, and they've won one game since, and that was against the Phillies on Sunday. Since then, they lost both games to Houston by 2+ runs. They are getting destroyed. This team can't pitch, and we're looking at Toronto, who's been fine, not great, but you're looking at them being 26-28. You Berrios against Lopez for this one. Blue Jays minus 145. You're looking at the A's being plus 120. For the over-under in this game, I see 8.5. Bit of juice for the over. I see Lopez. It might be Springs, so I'm actually curious who's going to be pitching in this one. Let me just see if anything happened to Springs, because I do see a couple of listed pitcher differences here. No, it might be Springs, so keep an eye out for that. But either way, I do see right now Lopez listed in ESPN, but I know ESPN makes stuff up half the time, so I don't know if he's actually pitching or not. I'll ask you, though, for this one, because Berrios has been fine this season. Not great, 4.22 ERA, which sounds pretty Berrios-esque, but the A's are horrible. I think 145 is actually a decent price. I don't mind the minus 1.5 with Toronto. The argument would be the A's can't even keep games close at this point. So I'll go for the value. You can find the minus 1.5 at about plus 145 as well. The A's have been a mess. I'll fade the team in free fall at plus 145.
Yeah, I'm looking at MLB.com, and I do see Jacob Lopez as well, so should be it. I know it says TBD for Blue Jays, but I do agree. I think it's Jose Berrios. I like the over 8.5 at minus 122. It's a little chalky, but my total came out to a flat 9. I wouldn't be surprised either if the total closed around there. I don't want parts of either side, if I'm being honest. A's can't buy a win, like you mentioned, and my numbers only made the Blue Jays a minus 135 favorite. Both teams, they've lost 4 of the last 5 games, but the over has hit in 4 of the last A's 5 games, mostly because of how bad their starting pitching has been and how poorly their bullpen is as well. They have the 3rd worst bullpen in the league, and it's going to be a bullpen type day for them. Jacob Lopez, reliever, got the start. He is making the start for them. And Blue Jays, they're not the best hitting team, but they do average a full run more at home than they do on the road. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be able to score some runs here. And I have never been a fan of Jose Berrios. I think they'll be able to score a few runs off of him as well. So I'll take the over 8.5 at minus 122.
Yeah, so initially when I saw Jay Lopez, my mind immediately went to Jorge Lopez. That is not Jorge Lopez. You said before this Jacob Lopez. But that is going to segue me into a little bit of a tangent here, because I do want to ask you a trivia question. So Jorge Lopez this season on the Nationals has an ERA of 6. Do you want to guess what his win-loss record is this season with an ERA of 6? My hint is he's appeared in 25 games.
5-1, 4-1.
He's 6-0.
What the fuck?
With an ERA of 6. He's 6-0, which is
legend.
Pretty entertaining.
What's his whip?
His whip is 1.21.
Okay.
So it's high, but for whatever reason, he gets a bunch of run support whenever he's in the game. But yeah,
that's hilarious.
That was the segue there. He's one of the only pitchers I've seen in a while who's 6-0 with a 6 ERA. So something to keep in mind there. We'll mention the Nationals in a second, but thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next game. I agree with you about the over, by the way. I don't trust Berrios or Lopez or any relievers in this game. I'll go with the over with you in that one. Moving on to the Rays against the Astros. For this one, you have Baz against Gusto. You have Houston minus 120. The Rays, who are now over 500 quietly, 28-27. They are even money. For the over-under in this game, I see it set at 8. And for the actual money line here, Houston's minus 120. And the Rays are plus 104. Don't look now. Both teams pretty good form recently. Houston is 5 over now. They've won 4 in a row, playing good baseball at home. As for the Rays, once again, they're over 500. People would not have noticed, but they have been in good form lately, as the Rays have quietly won 7 of their last 8. And nobody's noticed at all, but they've won 7 of their last 8 games. I'm going to ask you, because at first glance, I like the over. I don't trust either pitcher here. Baz has been kind of a mess for the last couple of months, and I don't think goes that good. Total of 8 feels very low. I'll take the over in that game.
Yeah, this was a tough game to handicap for me. I agree. I don't trust either pitcher, honestly. I'm going to take the first 5 over. Just look how bad both starters have been in the month of May. Gusto, 9.72 ERA, 9 runs given up in 8 innings. Walks are extremely high. And it really hasn't been much better for Shane Baz either. He has a 7.82 ERA, 22 runs given up in 25 innings, 13 walks as well. I can't trust either pitcher. I think we got a low number, full game because of how good these bullpens are. But I'm going to eliminate the bullpens, and I'm just going to target both of these starters. So let's not forget the Astros, they do hit well at home. 282 on the year. They're averaging 4.7 runs per game at home. So I'm going to fade both starters here. We'll probably get a low first 5 total as well. So I'll take a first 5 over.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a pretty entertaining game between two teams in good form. But
Yeah.
offensively, these teams have actually been kind of humming lately.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good spot. So I'll go with the over in that one. Moving on to the last game on the card. You have Gore against Hancock. Now, the Nationals minus 110. The Mariners are minus 110 as well. You look at the over-under in this game being set at 7.5. Gore this season has been very, very streaky. He's either really good or really bad. He was really good last start, a 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run against the Giants. He has struck out at least 7 guys in 4 straight, and at least 9 guys in 3 of the last 4 starts. Hancock's numbers are not good, as he does have an ERA north of 5, roughly 6 actually, and at home his ERA is 12.34. However, he has given up 4 runs in his last 2 starts combined, does give up a lot of hits though, but the Mariners do win his starts. Mariners have actually won, looking at his numbers here, they have won 6 of his last 7 starts, so he gets some run support. But I'll ask you, because the Mariners are the better team, but I think we all know Gore's much better than Hancock. So I like the Nationals' first 5 in this game, but I'll ask you what you like.
Yeah, I know the offense really hasn't been there for the Nationals as of late, but I probably would take their team total over, or maybe the first 5 over again. It's another situation where both starters really have struggled. Hancock has given up 7, 6, and 3 runs in his 3 starts at home. Nationals, they do hit righties much better than they do lefties, and I just don't trust Emerson Hancock right now. And I agree, Mackenzie Gore is definitely the better pitcher of the two, but he hasn't been the best on the road either. He's given up 2+ runs on the road in 5 of his 6 starts on the road. So Mariners, they're solid against left-handed pitchers as well. I think they'll be able to muster up a few runs. So I think we see runs early here. I take the first 5 over. I wouldn't mind a team total over for the Nationals either with how bad Hancock has been, but I think we see some runs here.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's going to wrap it up, though, for the 4-game-5-game card now with the rain out. So there we go. It was initially 4, now it's 5, so there we go. Point is, though, before we get into any of the lock and dog plays, a reminder that we're brought to you by our sponsor, Rhythm, because they're the home of Apex props are available for the NBA playoffs, for the NHL playoffs, for PGA stuff for baseball, WNBA as well. So check it out. A reminder, they also have a free trial. Check it out for free for a week. Use the discount codes, though. There are 2. You have a monthly discount, annual discount. Monthly discount, use the code SGPN25 for a quarter off your monthly subscription. For the annual discount, use the promo code SGPN50 for half off. That's Rhythm. Promo code SGPN25 for SGPN50. Sign up for the 7-day free trial by going to sportsgambling.com. *THMM. We're also brought to you by Circle's Ultimate Fantasy Ball Giveaway, because they are having the Ultimate Fantasy Ball Giveaway, an experience for a 12-person league in Vegas to be drafting their teams for the upcoming season and be treated like VIPs for their stay. We're going to get a 2-night stay for the entire league, actually. All 12 people in their league will get a 2-night stay at Circa. You'd also have your draft at Cabana, Stadium Swim with a 5K food and beverage credit. A lot of cream sodas there over for Dylan. Limited transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party Legacy Club for the league, and much more. When you do sign up, though, for the contest, you have until June 30th to enter, so keep that in mind. Enter at sportsgambling.com/circa, sportsgambling.com/CIRCA. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag, because MyBookie is a place every sport. They have the NBA playoffs, they have the NHL playoffs, they have baseball, they have UFC, they have golf, you name it. They're also available in a ton of locations. Use crypto, bonus payouts, and easy deposits. When you head to MyBookie, though, use the promo code SGPN when you sign up for $100,000 match up to 1K. Terms and conditions, MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through all 5 games on the card. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Dylan, I'll let you go first. What's going to be your lock and dog for the show?
All right. Let's see what we do. It kind of threw me in a loop because of the whole doubleheader and the different pitchers, but I gotta take it. If Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale, I gotta take the 7.5. 7.5 under at plus money. That's gonna be my lock. As my dog, what do I want to do? Let's do Astros minus 1.5 here at home. I think they're gonna get Gusto's been bad, but I think once that bullpen comes in, I do think they'll be able to get to that bullpen. I don't trust Shane Baez either. So minus 1.5 for the Astros. Do you have a price on that up in front of you?
You said minus 1.5 for the Astros?
Yeah.
I see that at about plus 175.
Yeah, I'll take that as my dog.
Okay. And I forgot what you say your lock was?
7.5 Chris Sale, Zach Wheeler, game 2.
And that you're going with the under at plus 102.
Yes.
Okay. So for my lock on the show, a part of me really wants that over, but I'm wondering if Spring's actually going to pitch in this game. So I'm kind of torn a bit here. You know what? I'll go with the... Okay, so I know what my dog's going to be. For my lock, I think I am going to go with Toronto. But let me just quickly see what Springs has done lately, just to confirm he's been as bad as I remember. Springs has been fine lately, not great. But the A's can't win games. Yeah, give me Toronto at minus 138. Bit expensive, but I get it. The A's, I said before, have won one game in the last 2 weeks combined. It has been ugly. Their bullpen stinks. And I think you're looking at a spot where Toronto at home can be a bit dangerous. The A's, though, have lost, doing the math in my head here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've lost 13 of their last 14 games. They've been just an absolutely just awful team for the last 2 weeks. That's good enough for me. Give me Toronto money line at minus 138. For my dog, give me the Phillies game 1 minus 1.5 at plus 145. Smith-Shawver's been a mess on the road this season. Was really bad against the Nationals last start. Phillies are great at home, and Sanchez has been good as well. Give me the Phillies game 1 minus 1.5 as my dog at around plus 145. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. I'll know back once again here
Real quick, Scott.
Thursday.
Real quick, I got a home run prop.
Oh, you do? You're going for a home run. Okay.
Yes. I was like, you know what? There's only 4 games. Well, 5 now. I was like, you know what? I'll give Scott a home run play.
Okay.
Isaac Paredes from the Astros.
Paredes? Okay.
Paredes. He's hitting 294 against righties. He hasn't hit a home run in about 3 days, but he's due. And I said, I'm fading Shane Baez right now. He's a fade. He's given up a home run in 8 of his 10 starts, including at least 1 home run in 5 straight games. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Isaac here.
Yeah, that's a good choice. He has been performing pretty well recently at the plate. Trying to see who I want to go with, because a part of me wants to make a case for... I thought about maybe going for Vlad Jr., but I just can't. He just does not have enough home runs for me this season to actually back.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's had a couple of guys who've been hitting pretty well lately. Do I want to go with Lau?
Mm-hmm.
I might actually go with Lau.
Yeah.
He's been good lately, but I got to specify because they have like 7,000 different Laus in the team. Give me Brandon Lau for this one. 11 home runs this season. Hit a home run actually today. I think it's a good spot for him in Houston. Give me the same game actually.
Let's go.
Different team. Give me Brandon Lau as my home run pick here against Gusto.
I love it.
For Thursday. Anyway, let's go wrap it up. You can find me on Twitter as Radio. Find him on Twitter at DRock with 2 Ks 24 on Twitter. Till next time, good luck to all of you.